All right. So, the first part of this stream is going to be trying to fix this new multi chat thing. Because we're always evolving, we're always moving and shaking, as it were. So I actually have something set up that can get all of the chats from like 400 different websites and put them all on one feed. It has the horizontal stuff, it has transparent stuff, as you can see, over on the side right here. But you can't fix the YouTube part of it until you're live, which is super. You can't like test it. So that's why YouTube chat is not showing up over here. So we're going to do some triage right now. And by the way, I'm streaming live on TikTok, apparently. I haven't checked. If you're here on TikTok, welcome. I don't know. It says I'm live, but it also has an error code saying I'm not allowed to be live. But apparently I am live. I don't know. Technology's weird, right? We've talked about that a little bit on the show before. But I hope you're doing well. Yesterday we were going to go live, but no shebang there, because we had to get a whole new water main put in from the road, where they deliver the water, all the way to the house, because our pipe had galvanized, which means it had rusted, cracked through, it was leaking a ton of water. So, yeah, plumbers came out. We did all that. We had excavators out front. We had a whole bunch of stuff. It was not cheap, but it's done. And that's what is important, because now we have water again. Past 2 days, we had water, but it was costing us like a gallon every 4 seconds or something. It was not great. So I have a whole bunch of stuff up right now. I have, you guys just want to take a look, see real quick. Let me show you. So this is the new thing, Social Stream Ninja. It has all kinds of stuff. You can see that it auto archives and auto finds and activates and stuff, but it is not showing me YouTube for whatever reason. But see, you can't go live, or you can't do anything, and it says please sign in. There's no button to sign in anywhere. I don't know what it's talking about. That's how this is starting. But good news is we're just going to be doing some rendering painting today. So it's going to be really relaxing once we get all that situated. So I have multiple things set up here. Let me try inspect. Here, let me come back over here. We're just going to be farting around on this thing, man. There we go. So see, Twitch shows up good. Mert's message shows up great. It's nice. It's going to be nice and like cut. And the thing is, it's really cool too, because it's like, if we go over like to art stream, you can see it on the bottom right there. That's going good. Need to figure out why YouTube is not showing up. I don't know. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre. So if you're here on TikTok, welcome, but I'm flying blind. There's no way for me to have that chat up yet, because TikTok really doesn't integrate with anything. They are their own beast. Has a delay. Oh yeah. Yes, and that, okay, so YouTube chat has a delay. It takes about 5 seconds to come to me, and then about 3 more seconds to hit the stream. Twitch is about 1.5 seconds. It's very quick. Like I said, the live stream thing, Twitch kind of has that figured out, right? But But yes, so trying to get all this stuff sorted is weird. So I have to do it live. So we're live here. We got the music going. The epic music for me to conquer this boss battle of real life. But tomorrow, we're going to do Friday Fun Day. We're going to be playing some Helldivers 2. That'll be fun. That will be good. Yeah, 5 seconds is very... That's true. It's very optimistic. We're here. See, yeah, Twitch shows up immediately. I don't know why YouTube will not. So yeah, that's already right there. Cool. Right. Yeah, I do not know why this. And also, yeah, TikTok, but I probably don't have any TikTok people right now. I could check. I don't think I have any. Oh yeah, because I have this other TikTok app. It's called Tickfinity, which is basically StreamerBot just for TikTok. You know, it says I have 1 viewer. Welcome, TikTok viewer. I hope you're well. Hope you're doing good. We'll get to the art in a minute. I promise. I'm just trying to figure this out because I literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 programs open just to try to figure out the live stream thing. So we know Twitch works great because I could also move back to the chat thing without too much hassle, to be honest with you. I might do that. Social stream, it's a neat idea. You know, it's definitely a neat idea, but I may not need it yet. That makes sense? That. So let's get this. We're doing it live, man. We are doing this on the fly. Let me come up here. I'm gonna add a browser thing. Okay. Did I get rid? I think I did get rid. We're gonna come over to the nutty.gg. We are going to do guides. Our good pal Nutty doing all this. Multi-chat overlay. Mind if I do? We are gonna go customize that. Browser. All right. We're gonna do this. There was a way. Yeah, there's black background. Okay. Awesome. I want to say this should be all the way in there. So let me click to copy URL. We are going to do browser source, create new, nutty, multi, chat, large. Boom. And what's the dimensions he recommends? I think it was 600 by 800? Oh god, not 7,800. Good lord. Yes? Connected? Question mark? Alright, so now, okay, cool. So now see YouTube's back. YouTube's back there on the old multi-chat. Right? So we can move that over here. While we also hide this one. Right? Hide that one. That. So if I come over here and I do properties and I change this to 550 and the height to 700. There it is. Look at that. We're so good at the internet. We're so good at that internet. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get rid of that dock. Also, let me update this whole scene here for our good friends on TikTok. Let's add the browser source. Oh no, don't want to do that. I want to add source, browser source. We're gonna do this. We're gonna come down here, nutty, add source. There it is. So we can get rid of this one, move this one down. There we are. Our good friends over at the old... Yeah, so actually on TikTok right now, which is kind of crazy. Wish, inspect. I could inspect that. How would I add background? Hold on. Because now the Nutty Multi-Chat, the screen itself that I have docked in OBS is completely white, so I can't read anything. I can see that people are chatting, but now I can't, you know, see the deal. But let me go in, let me use my good old-fashioned... good old-fashioned CSS and I don't know why it's not doing this. There's always something, man. There's always something. I promise I will start painting here momentarily. At font body hidden overflow that I want width, height, color, black. Oh, so that's text color. That's fine. The background. There it is. That's what I needed. Okay. Great. Now we should be fairly off to the races. All right. So let's actually come on over and look at some art, yeah? And then I need to change the bottom scroll. Let me come down here. And horizontal. Come here. Browser source. There's that one. There's multi-chat large. Event list, multi-chat. No. Come over to our good pal, Nutty. Horizontal chat. There it is. Come over here. Do like Bammo. Then we will copy that URL. We will add a new browser source. Width, that should be 1920. And then 200 as the height. My man. My man. There. Yeah, there we go. And then let me hide this one. There it is. Cool. We good? We're going to come back to chat with webcam. That's good. YouTube's showing up good. There we go. Now I'm going to test one more thing on my end, and then we'll start painting. All right, cool. There it is. Yep. So now both of the things are coming up. That's fine. That's great. I will deal with that issue as a little issue. You know what I mean? Not too shabby. Not too bad. Let's start painting. Let's start moving the old brush and bringing the magic of creation to the world. Really, today is just going to be rendering. We're just going to render our butt off today. All right. Move that. By the way, stream brought to you by G Fuel. Go to gfuel.com and use the code WESG at checkout. You save 20% off your whole order. They just wrapped up their buy one get one deal. But right now, collector's boxes, like any of the stuff that you would like, they got it. They got it there. 20% off using the code WESG. I'm literally drinking the Miami Nights 2.0 right now. It's real good. It's yummy. All right, so you'll notice we went from Krita as our kind of main developing one. Now we're going to come in and we're going to knock out some Clip Studio Paint. Because I think that Photoshop wet blend brush is my favorite rendering brush. We're going to come in and we're going to start rendering some real fine detail. And then we're also gonna get our kind of smooth textures, like stuff like this. It's still a little messy. It's fine. Gonna kind of clean up some of this. Yeah, we're really just gonna focus on cleaning this today. Probably spend about 3-ish hours. Yeah, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Just working on rendering. So, you can see I brought in the transparent deal. I tried to save out the Krita file as a Photoshop file, and it would not let me do it. It genuinely would not let me do it. So, that's fun, right? But I saved it out as a PNG transparent. That way I can bring the original onto one layer. And then I duplicated that. And this is what we're going to work on in Clip. Just this nice duplicate layer have. So it'll be a little earlier. We'll log in because, and I wanted to ask you, Rick, do you want to use the in-game chat function as far as like voice chat, or would you prefer like we hop on a Discord channel? Because I don't know. I genuinely, and this is honest to God's truth, the last time I have done voice chat while playing a game was on the original Xbox on Rainbow Six. That's not an exaggeration. Whenever that came out for Xbox Live, back when Xbox Live was a brand new thing, I have not done any voice chat gaming since then. So I don't know the best way to go about it. I don't know if like push to talk is gonna work better, because that way I can still talk to, you know, the stream chat, but then only because, you know, I also don't want you to have to listen to me ramble on in game while I'm just, you know, hanging out with chat. So that's it. It's that type of stuff. Groups of 4. Okay. Yeah, that's actually true. So yeah, we'll do Discord chat. I just have this Photoshop brush right here, and this is all we're gonna do. We're just gonna come in, we're gonna kind of clean up any rough areas. I have that kind of soft, nice wet blend brush version of it, but we also have kind of this razor blade version if I need to come in with a super fine detail and do something very exact like this right here, almost like sketch out the rendering, you know? So we have that. Here, this is all we're gonna really be doing. Is just coming and doing a once over on everything on this night. Here. There we go. I definitely need to fix this eye. I need to fix the eye. I think it looks okay, but it could look way better. No? Look way better. All about the rendering. Yeah. It's a good skill to have. It's a good skill to practice. I'm actually doing maybe the most rendered piece of art of my career right now for a client. Needed something very specific. Making it happen. I do this. I'm gonna get the hard eraser to clean up any of this right here. Photoshop brush there. Get rid of some of these harsher lines. Sort of blending them out. I'm kind of at that crossroads right now to where I don't know if I want to keep any of the darker kind of pencil lines. I'm not sure. Or if we want to literally just paint all of it out. Because I do like the energy that sketch lines give. I think it's a nice dynamic thing. But also, it's like, would this work better as a fully rendered, no sketch line? Yeah, that'll actually be the next thing we start working on for the art stream is my Orktober piece. I have an idea. I don't know how. I mean, I think it'll look awesome. I just kind of have the vague idea in my head. But that's the whole idea, is we're gonna do it live. We're gonna figure it out, problem solve. Some of those. Smooth this out. See, this is all just little bits of rendering. Little. I'm not even really zoomed out right now. I should be zoomed out. That way I don't lose the whole composition. But I would say after all the work we've done so far, the pose is locked in, the anatomy's kind of locked in, besides the face. But all this other stuff, they're ready to rock and roll. Right now is just a come in and get rid of anything that's catching the eye. So yeah, I'm excited to see everybody's Orktober stuff on the server. Like, really stoked. Because everyone's going to approach it different, you know? That's cool. Yeah, this brush is super nice just because you can come in and really dig in and render, but also it just smooths out everything so well without losing the kind of brush feel. Like, it doesn't look airbrushed. You know, you can still see the slight opacity differences based on the pressure. So Neat. See if we can clean this up a little bit. It's a little darker. After really darken that. Sharp version. Also, these little snaps right here, I might change this. Might change it to kind of fit this same motif, how we have this button right here. We have a few things right here. Might just bring one in. Let's do... and up. Don't want to over render and make it super sharp right off the bat. See, way it has a little bit of wiggle room as far as values and like visual interest, you know, because we want to make sure that everything stays fairly consistent as far as like render technique and things like that. Even though this is separate material, every material should be handled a little bit different as far as like leather versus, you know, cloth versus like you know, gloves or the hard surface steel, like that type of thing. But you want it to all get the same kind of amount of attention. That's how you make sure that your stuff is very consistent and just it's a nice quality all the way around. See, we're getting rid of little bits of just what looks a little unpolished. We're just polishing everything. I like the slightly darker up here, like the ambient occlusion of where the hand is covering the bulb. So we're gonna introduce a really dark line and then we're gonna wet blend it from there. There you go. See that? So that way you get the nice dark edge and then it sort of gradients out. Here, we got it. Yeah, that's really in my mind what rendering is you can work within the value range you have set up as far as like the big piece, of course. Like, okay, we have our values here. I might make the cape. I actually might make the cape or the cowl or whatever you want to call it this nice value because we get a lot of the good subtle creases and stuff. But I might actually make his shirt a little darker overall. But whenever you really zoom in, each each portion can have slight differences, but relatively, like the bag is as dark as the belt, which is darker than the shirt, than the bottom piece. If you just keep the relationship the same as far as like what is darker, what is lighter, you can then come in and start introducing other value, barely some value shifts, a little bit lighter, a little bit darker, unless it's like a pardon me, unless it's like an ambient occlusion shadow, which will be really dark. But it's almost like you're setting an expectation, you're setting a rule as far as a value, how light or how dark something is. And then you can manipulate it within those confines. And because the big value range, there's a drastic difference. You can get away with pushing and pulling values within like your shadows, and it still won't interfere with the midtones or the highlights. But that's also how you can get color variety as well. As long as you're locked into those values, you can kind of use whatever color matches that value, and it's going to look fine. Like it's not going to look out of place. You might have to train the viewer's eyeball on like, does this make sense? Does this color make sense right here? But in that way, I think of art a lot like music. So in music, every song has a key. Every song has a main key, right? Even if you change keys during the song and all this other stuff, it has a home base. And the fun is like traveling away from the home base. Like there's the old joke, in music, if you're in A, like if you are in the key of A or the key of C or the key of G or whatever, playing G in the key of G will always work. It always works because it is the thing. Art is kind of the same way. You have to train the viewer to follow the rules. Okay, what key is this in? And a lot of times you can even talk about it like key is in like lighting. Like, is this light or dark? I would very much argue that this is a light key. This is a light key because a vast majority of this and where the detail is going to live is going to be in the lights. The light is going to showcase the detail. That means the darks can kind of melt away, as you can see here. Like I can even do this and extend this belt out. And your brain kind of deals with it, right? Because it knows, hey, it's not the most important thing. See? And see, now look at this. I can merge all of these values very close, like Lost Edge type stuff, right? In fact, let's do that. Let's go ahead and lose the edge right here. Extend that out a little. And then what's going to happen, here, introduce that back. Okay. But then we're going to zoom out. Not much has changed. It's not like your eye can't tell that this is the belt wrapping around and this is the deal for, like, they live in the darks, so it's fine. So this is a light key. As long as you're training people to look where the light is, you can play with a lot of stuff. Yeah, I saw oh man, that's such a shame. I know he was in kind of ill health for a little bit before his passing, but Drew Struzan, if you all don't know, the movie poster guy. Like, if there was a very good painted movie poster from the times of, like, I don't know, 1978. No, before that. Let's say early 70s up until like he got in ill health. But like Blade Runner, he did the Empire Strikes Back one. He did Indiana Jones. If it's anything Steven Spielberg, if it's anything Ridley Scott, if it's anything like George Lucas for a little bit, Drew Struzan was the movie poster painter guy. And like the best to ever do it. There's no question in my mind. He is a bona fide art Hall of Famer. Like, he is the guy. Nice thing about rendering, by the way. You can just sort of like hop between places and it's fine. Like, oh, we can do this. Oh, we can render here. Oh, we can't. Because it's all kind of the same thing. It's sort of mindless. I'm not really thinking too hard about it. Just coming and cleaning up edges, adjusting values. That's all we're doing. Clean this up a little bit. I want to keep this bottom line here and like extend this out to the bottom line so it kind of matches this. Or do I want to come in here and make this the cutoff and then we just kind of get rid of the dark stuff here? Oh yeah, Itagaki-san. Yep, I saw that literally right before going live. Love those Dead or Alive games. And Ninja Gaiden, of course. Here. Take care of that. Let's do this. Soften that a little bit. That. Go, and then yeah, let's just do this. Let's go ahead and get rid of these. There we go. And kind of curve that up correctly. That one. Bring that dark shadow up here, kind of follow that line. Extend that down a little bit. That's this out. Down. That. Yeah, you can see here I'm just like connecting the dots almost. Like I'm coming in, I'm like, oh, this needs to be a little bit lighter, a little bit darker. I'm following the forms, following the shapes. And this is it. You can like turn on a podcast, you can turn on audiobook, have YouTube on in the background. Like there is something nice about you know, doing rendering like this, because you're not really thinking too much. You know, it's not the hardest thing in the world to do. Alrighty. Have a safe trip to work, Brent. Do I have an art degree? No, I am. Well, now, it's been so long, it's kind of like a reset button. I'd have to almost start over. I would start over from an associate's degree, because I have 2 associate's degrees. One in digital publishing, and the other in office administration. But I was going to be graduating with a degree way back when, a bachelor's degree in graphic design with an emphasis on illustration. So like that design track, so like digital art is, but they classified it under graphic design, but it was the illustration sidetrack, with a minor in film directing. So I've done that too, but I dropped out about a semester and a half before I got my degree. I still kind of kick myself on that because it's made a lot of other stuff. If you have a bachelor's degree, it makes finding a job anywhere for anything much easier. Because a lot of jobs, especially nowadays, they don't necessarily care what you have a bachelor's in, they just want you to have a bachelor's. The thing with art, the degree is not important. Not as important, because really everybody's looking at your portfolio. It's not about, well, how much school did you have? It's like, how good are you? You could go to school for 500 years, and if you're not improving as an artist, if you're not actually like understanding and like, you know, progressing, you're still not going to get gigs. Like art, any of the creative arts, it's all about how good you are. Like, did you put in the work to get good, and can you work with a team on a project? That's your thing. And that's why having a good portfolio is really important. Because you have to show that you know how to do the job. That's really what a portfolio is. A lot of people try to treat a portfolio like it's a way to show off. Like, whoa, man, yeah, look, I'm the best artist in the world. Or whatever. And while that, sure, you can flex a little bit. But really what a portfolio does is that's your business card. That's like, here's what I can do at a level that a team that I'm interested in joining might want to know about. Like, that's why you'll hear a lot of pro artists, and I'm one of them, say, you know, make your portfolio for the type of job that you want. Doesn't matter really what you're good at drawing or what you're good at painting or what, you know, that's fine. And you can show some of that stuff. But really, what job do you want? Because the people really looking at your portfolio, unless it's like friends and family and they're like, oh, you're so talented and cool, you're the coolest. It's going to be people looking to hire for jobs. So you need to tailor your portfolio to the jobs that you want. The worst thing you can do is be like, well, I'm actually good at painting buildings, but I hate painting buildings. But I might as well put my best paintings in my portfolio, because that way people will know I'm good. Doesn't matter if you're good, you're going to get hired doing the thing you hate. So don't do it. Don't do that. Learn the craft of what you want to do for the job. And that's if you're going pro. If you're not and you just want to show off your art skills, great. Nothing wrong with that either. But a lot of times I will see people very, like, I don't know. They just get so caught up in like, my portfolio has to be good. The art has to be good. Like, I've seen countless concept art portfolios without any concept art in it. People will say, well, I ask, well, what's your goal? What do you want to do? Oh, I want to be a concept artist. Really? Because I don't see any concept art here. I see no turnarounds. I see no breakout sheets. I see no design menus, meaning like, oh, the client needs a sword. Here are 4 swords to choose from where we can mix and match and make kind of what we need. All different styles, all different, like, that's concept art. Concept art is like, what is the side of the box going to look like in the warehouse of this video game level? It's not the most thrilling work in the world, but it's necessary. You need to know how to do that, you know. We're here and save this as night clip. Wait. No, I don't want to save that. I want to save it as a clip file, bro. Not as PNG. There we go. Night sketch. Clip version. Cool. So that way I do have my layers here. Yeah. So but that's the biggest hang up, is like, people treat a portfolio like it's this sacred thing. And it's like, man, hey, welcome, Luke. Glad to have you, my friend. If you're so caught up in like making the perfect portfolio, you're not going to be learning enough. You're not going to be expanding and trying new things enough to figure out what you actually want to do. You know, it's like saying, yeah, I don't know. It's weird because a lot of people just, I want to be an artist. I want to be an artist. I want to be an artist. What do you mean? Like, you know, if you want to work on books, if you want to work on advertisements, if you want to work, you know, in tabletop role-playing games or games of any kind, as far as like display stuff, get into illustration. Become an illustrator. That's a very specific thing. The same thing, if you want to make logos, if you want to work with companies, you are a graphic designer, which is still an artist, but you are a graphic designer. It's like saying, well, you know, I want to be a musician. Okay, what instrument are you going to play? Like, there's the big, you know, sweeping generalizations, fine, but you got to pick a thing. You got to pick a lane. You know, and there's stuff about every single one of those art forms. You know, one of the biggest hangups I see that students especially have, if they want to be an illustrator, is a lot of times they don't realize, very, very, very rarely are you going to make your own art. Unless you have your own project in mind, you have to think you're making everybody else's art. You are working based on their deadlines. You're working based on their project. You're working, and that's stuff that they own. A vast majority of the time, I mean, I retain the rights to my pieces insofar as I can say, yes, I made that. I made it for this company. I can showcase it on my portfolio. But I usually, with a majority of my clients, cannot sell like art prints of it. You sell that stuff away, man. Whenever you make the piece, it's kind of up to whatever they want to do with it. So you're making somebody else's artwork. Like, you're the artist, but you are doing their work. And a lot of illustrators don't dig that. They, you know, they're like, oh, well, but what about my voice and sure, you can implement that and they're going to come to you for a reason. Like, every client is going to either see your work and think it's a good fit for what their vision is or not. But yeah, getting so caught up in the like, I am the artiste and my genius will showcase throughout the world. Get into fine art. Get into galleries, get into that type of stuff. Because then, and even then, you still got to know what your market is. Who are the people, Like, who are the people actually buying paintings? Going to an art gallery show, looking at an artist, and like investing in that artist, which is what fine art is. Basically, you are a stock market. And people hedge their bets on if you're going to be successful or not. That's what fine art is. Fine art is, oh, now a collector of this artist. I'm going to buy their art at this price because I think in the future it's going to be worth more. You're literally investing in the person. A lot of people hedge bets and say, hey, this artist is going to sell a lot for multi-million dollars. So I'm going to buy all of their stuff right now for a few $100,000. That way, when they really break big, I can make profit hand over fist. That's the reality of the fine art deal. That's why there's so much money laundering and all that stuff. And there's a market for it. The thing is, you have to find the market. You have to work with the curators. You have to work with the people in the business and be like, okay, who's buying? Do I need to handshake somebody? Do I need to go to a galleria? Do I need to go, at a mixer, the Catalina wine mixer, and I got to shake hands with the mayor because the mayor's cousin is a big art dealer? Like, it's that. Like, that's the job. It's like you're schmoozing, man. And if you're good at it, you'll make pretty good money. And of course, your skills have to be there as far as like delivering and how many paintings do you do a year? How can you produce for the gallery? The gallery's already going to take half. So if you're painting and you're, you have these pie in the sky things like, you know what? With this painting, I think I could make $300,000. Well, that means list price minimum is $600,000 because the curator will take half. And that's if you get a pretty decent deal. Because they are putting their neck on the line too. They're giving you the space. They are making their connections. They are calling people. They are doing outreach. They are your agent, basically. They want you to sell because then they get money too. You know what I mean? They are like your stockbroker. It's a different head game. So you got to learn that type of stuff. That's where learning each field comes in very handy. And I will say that was the benefit of me going to art school way back when, is that's the stuff I learned. I didn't actually learn really how to paint. I did learn how to like handle materials, but I didn't necessarily like learn brand new techniques. If I did, it was by accident. Or maybe my instructor was like, hey, have you tried like thinning out this with liquid before you put it on as a scumble or whatever? Like, they'd use that type of terminology. You'd be like, oh, let me try that. And that's what your studio time was for, is just experiment and like figure out what are your materials doing? If you need this type of problem solved, how do you solve it? But like going to art school to learn how to paint or how to draw or whatever, I don't know if I'd recommend it. I would say you should go to that if you want to learn how to network. If you want to learn the business acumen of it, yes, go to school for it. Because there's a lot to learn. But like you can learn how to draw for free. Totally. Cody, what's up, brother? Yeah, Cody's the real deal, brother. You are the real deal, my friend. I was watching a few of your streams, in fact. Knocking it out of the park, dude. But yeah, it's all about knowing kind of what your deal is, Like, what do you want to do? And then you got to jump all in. Because right now, I like illustration because I get to learn every kind of style I could ever want to do, work on it in a professional way with clients, with art directors, giving me feedback. And so it does feel like an extension of art school a little bit. But I mean, the best way you can learn how to draw, the best way you can learn about value and all that stuff, you can get over a year's worth of supplies. And this isn't even talking about like paint and stuff. This is just the bare bones. If you want to learn how to draw, I want to learn about composition, I want to learn about, form and foreshortening and all that stuff. You can go to the store right now. You can buy a ream of computer paper, 500 pages. You can buy a box of mechanical pencils or number 2 pencils or whatever for like $3 to $4. You get the ream of paper for like $8, maybe even less, depending on where you go. And if you do 1 page a day, that is over a year. And what would that be? With 500 pages in a ream, 365 days a year, that's a year and however many months. Year and 5 months or whatever. Maybe even more than that. You will be better in a year and like 7 months or whatever. Guaranteed. That's a guaranteed fact. You do it every day. Dedicate at least like an hour a day. You're well on your way to your 10,000 hours of mastery. You're going to learn every lesson you need to learn. You don't need the best tablet. You don't need all these new programs. You don't need all the whatever. It makes it fun. It definitely makes it fun. But if you're in it to learn, if you can't do it with a mechanical pencil on a piece of notebook paper, you can't do it. That's the way I see it, man. Like, we talk about that a lot here, but what are we really talking about? You got to get that skill. You got to get that dexterity. This out real quick. Practice on the stone tablets. If you can't chisel it, you cannot chisel it out of granite. In 5 minutes, it can't be done. Impossible. I practice on water. I do all of my art on grains of salt. I have an exact replica of the entire Sistine Chapel on a single grain of salt. And if you can't do it, you're not a real artist. That always makes me laugh. Like, that whole fallacy of like, no true Scotsman or whatever they call it. But like, oh, if you were a real artist, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, a real artist could, but like, I'm just talking about just the ingenuity of the skill set. Like, you can be an artist and kind of do whatever you want. That's the whole point. But if you're talking about illustration and you want to work for a bunch of people and like you want that side of it, you better be able to deliver quickly on a variety of different mediums, because you never know. You're a contractor. You never know what's going to walk through the door. You never know who's going to email you. You never know what their project's going to need. And are you going to be too proud to learn a certain style? And then, someone comes up and be like, oh no, I don't do art like that. Like, people have come up to me and they ask, hey, do you do logos? And I'm like, you wouldn't like my logos. They're not very good. I don't know that craft very well. I can try it. But you would probably be better served going with a graphic designer, like a true graphic designer that has made logos before. You're just going to have a better experience. They know that language better. They know the shape language. They know what the trends are. They keep up with that stuff the same way I keep up with illustration. What are the newer techniques coming out? What are the newer programs? What are some methods? How do I do those methods? Even if I don't use them. Like, I know how to photo bash. I know how to do 3D. I'm not great at modeling, but I can damn sure make a good scene in Unreal and Unity, and you know, I'm even learning a little bit of Godot, the open source engine. I know my way around Blender and Daz and Poser. Like, I know that stuff. ZBrush, not great at it, but I know it. Because you don't want to be the reason why somebody skips you over, is because you're not keeping up with the right trends, you know. So now what we're going to do for a second, we are going to render out some of this shield. Right. Yeah, you just see the, you know, and that's the other thing. That's why it's so important to have the portfolio like tailored to what you want to do. Because then whenever you direct traffic that way, like, oh, go check out my stuff, see if I'm a good fit. That's as easy as it. Like, oh, go check it out. If my style fits the type of thing you're interested in, yeah, I'd love to work with you. If not, you might still want to search. I can contact some people. I can, you know, make those arrangements. But it's like, I can't do all of it. You know, I used to have that problem of wanting to be so good at all of it all the time forever that it's like, oh, well, you know, there are different players on a football team. There are different players on a hockey team. They each have a position. They each do a thing. And they do their job very well. And cohesively, that makes a product. That makes a team. That makes whatever. You cannot play the linebacker and the quarterback and the wide receiver and the kicker and the defensive coordinator and the, like, it's not how that works, you know. Next to the wife, she's having a good day at work, which is always good news. So, I'm going to start kind of rendering in some of these like wood panels, right? A little bit of wood panel for the shield. I'm going to go the correct way. Now, the nice thing about this is it doesn't need to be exactly following the same, because wood is going to warp and slightly bend and stretch, and like the weather plus damage, you know, integrity damage to the deal itself. Like, you can get away with not every panel being facing the exact same angle. Like, one of the nice things about wood is soften that a little bit. Here, a nice little crack, we'll keep that there. See, this will just be a little chaotic than what we normally have, but it should work. Once we zoom out and you kind of see that optical illusion, it's pretty cool. Because the wood has to be kind of warped into this metal ring going around. So it has to be like inset on it. What that means is we'll get some of this. Wear and tear in here. And we'll come back and kind of nick this up a little bit. right there. More light right here. So that way, it's almost like different bits of moisture have gotten into the wood. Different levels. So then it's... Notice I'm not super worried about the full thing right now, but we come in, erase here. We can clean the shape here momentarily. Okay. So there we go. Hey, Rachel, if you're here, welcome. If any lurkers are here, I am a lurker positive streamer, man. I dig it. I barely type anything in any of the chats I ever go to. I always have it on in the background, so I am with you in spirit. I am as lurker friendly as it gets, man. Well, kind of. Let's show on the side. This can extend out a little more. This. That. Actually, this might still need to be a little... Play around with this edge, the kind of lip edge. For a little bit more. Move that out momentarily. Here. Another neat technique you can do if you need to just get some variety either in your values or your colors or whatever, you can get a hard round brush, like a soft or a hard round brush, and color pick and just kind of put some splotches down. You see kind of what we're doing here. And then after the fact, and do these, a few lighter hits right here. This makes it a little more fun to render. We do some of this. We'll follow the same grain lines for this type of wood. You know, and this is without reference or anything. It could probably be a more realistic look if we actually, you know, looked at reference, which I do recommend. But part of this exercise and part of the personal project is trying my best to work from imagination to kind of see where my limits are right now. So there and do that. That, okay. Have that. And then what we can do, so this is with the harder brush. You know, just kind of making the lines, following the deals. Then we can come in with that blender brush, the wet blend version. And then kind of lose some of these edges. What's going to happen is it's going to look like it was done with the utmost intent and design. It's just not true. Demonstrably, you guys saw it. It was just random marks around. But the nice thing is, and I learned this in school doing like acting and public speaking and stuff. The audience does not know the script. Usually. I mean, unless your audience is other actors that are also in the play. But anyway, your audience is not aware of the script, which is also true for painting. They don't know what it's supposed to look like. So as long as it looks fine, you're good. We can beat ourselves up as artists. We can be like, oh, that's not right. The rendering's kind of wrong and stuff. But if people can tell what they're looking at, you have succeeded to the level that is important. Actually really like that kind of darker nick right there. So I'm going to introduce a few more of those. Because this is what's kind of given us some personality in this wood paneling. See? Even up where that meets. It's given it a little bit more depth too. Getting out of your own way. I've had a handful of people tell me I'm ready for work, but all I see is the gap between me and 20-year pros. So, yes, I will do a thing that I wish somebody did to me or for me years ago. You are ready. You're ready. And specifically, Cody, you are ready. It is not up to us. The quality is up to us. What we know, what we don't know, that's up to us. What we practice, where we spend our time, where we improve, that is up to us. What is not up to us as artists of any type, but especially as illustrators, as people making art for games, whatever. It is not up to us to let us know we are ready. It is up to the people to let us know. It is up to an art director that hires you. It is up to fans that start coming around your work. People are attracted to quality. Even if it's a different deal. Just because somebody likes chocolate cake doesn't mean they're going to love vanilla cake. They're both delicious. They're both amazing. They're both made kind of the same way, whatever. There are tastes. You are going to know when you're ready. Like, there are days, and a lot of days, I still think, oh, I don't know if I'm quite there yet. But it's not up to me. It's people see the work. People see the wherewithal. People see either live streams or the other work that I've done previously for the type of clients that I've worked with. And then they're like, oh, it's a safe bet. You do not have to be the best artist. In fact, it's better if you're not the best artist. You have to be the least risky option. On a list of people, you need to be the least risky artist for somebody to hire you. If you have good business acumen, if you understand deadlines, if you work well with a team, you're going to get hired over somebody who might be a quote-unquote better artist, but is a diva. The only way you figure that out is by doing it. So you might be in that catch-22 spot of, okay, in order to get jobs, I need a job, but I can't get a job until I get a job. Like, I need to work on a pro thing, but I can't get the portfolio stuff, but... So my piece of advice is get 4 to 5 portfolio pieces that you think 100%, not even subjectively, but objectively, like as a mechanic person, like a mechanics person, and I'm very much a mechanics person. I got hired on at Magic the Gathering when my art looked good enough to be on Magic the Gathering. Period. I thought it took too long. I thought I was ready. I thought whatever. It wasn't up to me. People that work in that industry, those art directors at Wizards of the Coast, or the art directors at Trollord Games, or the art directors at Warner Brothers, or whatever, they know what they need to see. And then if they see it within you, and you're emailing back to them quickly, and you're open to interpretation, or, oh, I've never tried that style, but I'd love to work with you and see if I can do it. If you're open, you got it made. That's it. Like, art is one of those things that you are where you are because that's where you are right now. Like, you are where you need to be. You need to be, because the same place you're at right now, that's where I was 5 years ago. I guarantee it. I had just gotten one kind of, basically I got hired on at Cubicle 7 for one of the Warhammer books, but then they dropped me. But then they rehired me. Like, it was the most, like, temperature gauge going all sorts of ways. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I did a commercial for Adidas, and I kind of beefed it. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't tell them that, but I had no clue. I was sending them wrong file format stuff. I was sending them stuff in the wrong aspect ratio. I had no clue, dude. None. Have I worked with Adidas since then? No, but I learned a ton from that, and I got a feather in the cap. Alrighty, Rick, we'll see you soon. But yeah, really all we can control is what we can control. There's no magic potion, no magic formula, and I know that's not a great answer, but like, you're going to be working on something, and there's going to be something that happens while you're working on it. And you're going to be like, this might be the one. This might be, there's something happening. Like, it's, composition's better, the colors are coming together easier, something's going on. And oddly enough, that's probably going to be the piece that levels you up to get on the radar of the people. Because make no mistake, if you're posting regularly, if you're posting the quality of art that I know you can make, you're on some people's radar. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, people are always on the lookout for good artists. You know, people that work in the industry are always on the lookout for new up-and-comers. And really, for some companies, it's, you know, a little sleazy, but they like getting newer artists because they can charge them less. You know what I mean? Like, because if you're so hungry for a job or whatever, you're more willing to take a pay cut as opposed to somebody like in my position who, like, oh, well, he's been published all around the world and all this other stuff. We can't undercut that guy because I know what that type of job is worth because I've done it. I've done it at the highest level. But if you're fairly new in the business, if you're fairly new in the industry, it's not that they're going out of their way to get one over on you. It's the fact that they need to save money too. I mean, everything's getting more expensive. You know, they need to find a good deal. That's part of the art director's job, is you have to find somebody that's going to work with your project within the budget established by your finance operator, by your director, by your whatever. So they are just protecting their own butt, you know? Which is also why they usually go for the more experienced artists first, because they know it's going to be less of a quote-unquote headache. If they've never worked with you before, it's hard for a new company to take a chance, especially now. They want a known commodity. They want somebody that knows the industry. They don't have to handhold. They don't babysit. And can deliver either on time or preferably early, at budget. That's your dream. That's what you need to be as an illustrator. You need to be somebody that can deliver high impact, on time, and at or under budget. If you can do that, you will have art directors that are like your disciples. They are going to want to be on your calendar year round because they're like, oh, thank God. Oh, it's not a diva. They're not full of themselves. They don't argue with feedback. They get the stuff in on time. Our production's not held up. Like, you will get repeat customers. It is hard to get that first customer, but the only thing you can do to help that side of it is just keep producing. Show that you're going to make art at a high level, whether anyone hires you or not. It's just part of your being. It's part of what you do on a daily basis. Like, you can't help but deliver banger after banger. That's the goal. The perception should be, hey, this person works at a high level. They can do it in their sleep. We need them on our team. Because you're selling yourself. You are selling yourself to see if it is worthwhile for you to be part of that team. I'm going to go in and change this buckle a little bit. Because it's funny, the art is kind of like... That's why one of the best things you can do as an illustrator is learn to completely remove yourself from kind of what you're painting. You want to be invested, you want to be all that stuff, you want to make sure it looks good. But like, once I turn this, like, this is for me, so this is kind of a bad example, but if I were to turn this into a client, once it's turned in and I got paid, it's theirs. I don't care what they do with it. They can cut this guy in half, they can put his head 5 times bigger, they can do whatever. I have a copy of this, so that way if they try to misinterpret like what the artwork is, I can be like, well, here's the original before editing on my portfolio. That's why it's a good idea to always get a portfolio clause in your contract. So you can show what the art really looks like before they color adjust or before they do a saturation pass or whatever. But yeah, your art is not your art. You need to learn to not take any of it personally. It's just business, But that's nice because the actual job part of what you will be doing as an illustrator doesn't really have to do with the art itself. The art itself is secondary. I don't care what I have to paint. I don't care, I just know I need to meet a deadline. I need to meet a budget concern. I need to use the type of tools necessary that can get me to that whatever final destination quickly and easily, to save my own sanity. How do I set up the file so that way if I need to go back and edit something after a bunch of feedback, I can do it without having to restart from scratch? Like, that's the mechanics of the job. That's what you're actually getting paid for. That's why you see a lot of the companies that are like kind of BSing their way through it and, oh, well, I'll just use AI art or whatever. They didn't care about the important stuff anyway. What we do is not necessarily deliver a final image. That's part of it. But we are problem solvers, and we have a visual toolkit that we can use. And we have a certain vernacular, a certain vocabulary to help teams get a product made and put on the shelf or put online to make their money back. That's it. It's cool to have, hey, I got to work on this and I worked with Riot Games. I worked at, that, all that stuff's cool. But what I really get happy about and excited about, like the past 3 or 4 Kickstarter campaigns that I was on the team that got to work on, what's really cool to me is they all met their budget. They all way met their budget. They were one of those like, hey, we met our budget in 11 minutes and now we're over $4 million and all that stuff. But what I like is that if you go to the Kickstarter pages and you scroll, my name is in some of that stuff. So as far as selling my worth to potential clients, I'm like, guys, My name is a featured name on record breaking Kickstarters. Not one of them, not two of them, seven of them. My name is used on there, not to say that they're all paying $4 million because I made a piece of art for a book. But like, if my name's on there, it's part of the team. Like, I want my name in the credits because that's what you use as leverage. And even if your first few gigs don't pay you as well, don't pay you as much as you think, like, don't undercut yourself, don't do work for free. But if you need to take the hit a few times, like the slight financial hit or whatever, just to get your work out there and work with a client, I would say do it. I know a lot of people will be like, no, never take less than industry standard, never take. You're going to know what works for you and your family and, you know, your bills and all that stuff. Don't go below that. But like, work with people. That's how you, it sounds silly, but like, the best way to learn how to work with people is to work with people. If you find a project and they're you know, they don't have a budget really. They can only, hey, we can only promise to pay you this little bit right now, and then hey, maybe once we do a Kickstarter thing, we'll pay you commission later. If you really love the sound of that project and what you see like kind of lights you up and you're like, whoa, they're onto something. This could be something. Do it. Hell, Jack Nicholson did the Batman movie. Essentially, he did his acting part for free, but he wanted royalties. And that dude's laughing all the way to the bank, still to this day, based on that one role. Because he was like, no, you don't got to pay me for it up front. Maybe the guild standard or whatever. But like, you don't need to pay me any extra. I just want 5% of all sales on all formats of the movie Batman. It's pretty good business, you know, like, because he believed in it. He thought it was cool. He, you know, he thought it was going to be a big hit, which it was. It was a defining moment in his career because he knew he was going to bring it. So it was a right fit. Oh. Yeah, it's looking okay. I need to come in and change some of this real quick. And out. That one in. Now, I'm doing a faux pas right now. Something that doesn't actually happen in reality. I have different values of shadows. Essentially, if this is in the same, like, plane of shadow, this should all be the same exact value. Because your shadow shapes just connect. They all connect in, like, a wedge type of thing. But I'm doing slight variations within these shadows here, just because I think it's interesting. Is it technically correct and the right thing to do, and it fits, you know, physics and the reality of the world? No. Does it look cool? Hell yeah. I'm doing it. All there is to it. You can see where stuff is kind of connecting in on itself. I'm kind of just losing some of these edges a little. Now we're going to come up. We're going to keep the kind of darker line because it's just a good way to differentiate the values of the leg versus this back cape area. Here's where we're going to show a little pocket. It goes in. Actually cuff it, you know what I mean? There we go. See, after cleaning that up, that looks way better, I think. Smooth this out. Oh, I actually need to smooth out this edge. Here we go. I need this to still look like a shadow, because if it's too crispy, it almost can be misconstrued for like another design element. So I need to blur around there, and I need to blur around here. There we go. Down. Cool. Those are good. So, I mean, kind of throwing everything, sort of like throwing everything away and dedicating all the time to getting better at the craft. I mean, it is a worthwhile pursuit if you understand that while your mechanics and your ability to see and your ability to do that will improve greatly, you might actually end up biting yourself in the ass, because there's one thing that has actually helped me improve a lot, especially over the past year. And that is, it's basically twofold. Having fun by taking breaks. Now, I will say, because I've kind of gotten back to my roots of like, oh, hey, you know what? Maybe I should play more video games again. Maybe I should do this. It's allowing my brain time to digest all of the other stuff that I'm learning how to do. So, you know, if you're into like physical fitness or whatever, you don't get muscles in the gym. Like, you don't, there's a misnomer to where like, oh, if I spend more time in the gym, I'm going to get better results. It's not true. It's like demonstrably not true. Where you actually build your body, you build the endurance, you build all that stuff, is while you rest. It's while you sleep. If you're studying for a test, one of the worst things you can do is cram, do all that. I'm going to cram. I'm going to get all this information right here. And my mind is going to be like the Matrix and all this other stuff. You don't retain stuff that way. You retain stuff by getting little bits of information, very dedicated time, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Really look at it, try to absorb it, and then forget about it. Forget about it for a little bit. Go on a walk, go take a shower, eat good food. Don't even think about it. Watch an episode of a TV show, whatever. Come back to it again. Look at it for another 20 minutes. All right, cool. Then go to sleep. When you sleep is when you learn things. It goes into your brain. Your brain, like it absorbs it. It makes the little crinkles on it. That's when you learn things. Now, you have to do the first part. You have to read it. You have to try your best to understand and process it. But your brain actually compartmentalizes information as you rest. So while I would recommend, hey, if you want results fast, man, yeah, throw everything away. Throw all of it away. Just learn mechanics. Just do master studies. Just go for the grind. Go for it. You will improve. That's an absolute fact, man. No question. But you might still be frustrated that you, quote unquote, haven't learned much. You have, but you're going to be like, why can't I see the results? Well, because you're trying to do weight loss and you're weighing yourself every 5 minutes. It's not how it works. You got to weigh yourself every other week. That's when you start seeing results. You're like, oh, I lost 5 pounds over the past week and a half. Holy crap. Like, if you're so about it and you're weighing yourself and you're doing all that stuff all the time, you're never going to see progress. You don't realize what you look like because you see yourself every day in the mirror. But if you looked in the mirror, and then you don't look at yourself in the mirror at all in any type of way for like 3 weeks, and then you look at yourself again, you're going like, oh, I look different. I lost weight. I gained weight. I did, it's that. You need the time away from it in order to like, holy crap, I got way better. Which is why it's so cool to like look at your old artwork. Artwork from even 6 months ago. And you're like, oh my God, I sucked back then. What was I thinking? It's way different. It's way worse than what I do now. And then you do that forever. 6 months from now, I'm going to look at this and be like, oh my God, what was I doing? It's just how it is. Everybody does work different, but the human brain is actually pretty standardized. There's a way that you can learn things and retain it easier and better. I mean, and I just vote. If you do the stuff, if you read books, if you watch movies, if you play video games, that's actually part of your visual library. You are retaining little bits of information for every session that you do. You can see something like a cutscene or you see a movie and you really like the visual style of it. You can then ask yourself why. Hey, why did I like that? That looked cool, but why did I think that looked cool? Was it the bright colors? Was it the way it was all put together? Because you're still working. You're still processing that information. And you're adding to your visual library. So I know earlier we were talking about working from imagination. That's really what it is. Just build your library. Then you have all this stuff in your mind to fall back on. Right. So here's going to be the thing, and I know what the fear is, because Cody, we are very much kindred spirits in our creative process. So I can tell you probably what you're thinking in your mind. At least I know I would be. Well, I'm making okay progress, and I need to keep going, because the more I put into it, the better I'm going to get. But if I take a break, all of this stuff that I learned how to do, I might forget. I might forget the technique that made this thing. I might forget how to do the layer mode. I might forget how to do yada, 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 blank, blank, blank. I can tell you from experience, actual experience, if you take the break, here's the thing. I'll give you a challenge. Take a break for 1 week. Don't do any art. None. Don't tweak a thing. Don't render something. Don't do nothing. Don't do anything. Don't even open Photoshop. Don't open your painting program. Nothing. One of two things, or both things, are going to happen. Number one, you're going to drive yourself crazy because all you're going to want to do is paint. You're going to be like, oh God, I need to open the thing. Oh, I need to get in there. And that's a good problem to have. You're still motivated. You're still. But what I think might happen, if you give yourself the break, if you download a game, you know, hey, I got this new game, or hey, I got a game that I liked playing for a little bit, but then I spend all my time doing painting. Go back to that. Go back to the game, go back to the book, go back to the TV show. If you're in the middle of a season of a TV show, wrap up that season. Don't think about art for a little bit. Because what's going to happen is that's when you're going to improve. You're going to improve because now your muscle, which is your brain, and hell, maybe your wrists, maybe your hands, the, you know, structure of your body, has time to rest. It has time to understand what has happened. What have I learned? Let me compartmentalize it. Let me lock it down, lock it in. It will not only will you not forget it, you will memorize it to a level that now it is subconscious. And that's the whole goal of any of this. Get so good at all of it that you don't have to think about any of it except for the fun stuff. Hey, what if we had a dragon? What if he came down? What if he was swooping down and he blah, 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 blah. You start building your story and then you're like, yeah, let's do it. And then you start going and it looks good. That's the whole goal for all of us. You will get there way faster by doing those crunches of like, okay, I'm going to learn this. I'm going to learn this technique. I'm going to do this master study. I'm going to do this. Okay, what did I learn? Let me try something, a little version of it in my style without reference. Okay, cool. And then don't do anything for 3 days. And then come back, open that piece, and you're going to be like, oh, I know what I need to fix. And you're going to be able to dive right in. Hell, we didn't even open this file for about a week and a half, right? And once I came in, I was like, oh yeah, rendering, which is one of my least favorite things to do. But I'm like, yeah, I know how to do it. Let's do it. Jump on in. And you start going. Because your brain had time to register. You know what I mean? Yeah, so we're going to be doing Helldivers tomorrow. We're going to be on the old Discord server. That'll be fun. I am excited about it. I'm going to be terrible at it. And it is going to be weird, like, streaming to everybody, but also talking to you guys in voice chat, but also, like, you know what I mean? Like, trying to balance all of that is going to be fun, because I've never done that before. So, it could be a clusterfuck, but that's part of the fun. That is part of the fun. Okay. Yeah, the leg's looking okay, right? It's looking good. Got this one. We got this one. Let's come in here. And what's nice about this is we can really just focus on like these like lost edges and compartmentalizing and legs. Big old boy. Quads. A little bit. spots around here. I think what's going to be really cool here in a second is whenever we start on the sword. Because I am going to keep the sword fairly light, kind of cutting down here. I'm going to smooth this out. So now this boot kind of just goes in the background and sort of fades away. You know, it's less abrasive, it's... Just kind of get rid of all the lines there. Okay. Keep this one here. Really just about getting rid of the sketch lines. We can always reintroduce sketch lines later if we need to. Nice is we're at the part of the painting where everything kind of looks okay. Like, so now whenever we come through here and we're just kind of playing around, nothing's really going to look out of place. Rick, welcome. Hopefully the grocery trip went well. You got what you needed. I have to grocery shop in the morning. Around. Yeah, so now if we zoom out, yeah, it's all looking pretty cohesive now. You know? I can even come in. It's eraser. Clean up around that foot, clean up here. That up. Got a Gouda. Sacrilege. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here, getting rid of any of these. Now, how do we want to do this? Let's grab the dark from under the fur. Sculpt this in. Then I can come back over the top. The lighter value, kind of do what we did up here. Make that fur pretty good. Bigger. And go through here. And we can darken that. Liking the shape of the shadow right here, so we're going to keep that. I'm going to lighten right up here. Here. Top of that foot's going to catch that light. And this sort of just blend it out a little. Oops. There. Yeah, so we're just kind of keeping the overall shape of the foot. Race. It's over here. Here. All right, now let's start on the sword. Okay. So first thing I want to nail down, I'm going to nail down the blade. Sharper. Look a little wavy right now, but we're going to fix that pretty easily by doing our square selection and then painting on the inside of it. Just about getting that overall feel. See, and it's nice because even if it is a little wobbly, not like perfectly geometrically sound, it actually just kind of looks like a little wear and tear on the sword itself. Like there's some areas we're going to make sure it's pretty sharp, of course. But if it's a little wonky, that's kind of fine. And plus, that's a telltale sign that it was hand painted. You know, people appreciate that. Do here. Recircle this out. This out. No weird like anti-aliasing or that. Down. I may restructure this belt buckle because I think it kind of takes away a little bit of something. This doesn't quite look right. So that's an easy fix. You're just going to paint over it. That means we can even bring down this little overhang. That's so. Question is, how do we want that belt to be attached? Yeah, I actually think that looks more natural, just without the... And it gives us a little bit of an opportunity. We wanted to... that. Bring a little bit more tuck, you know, in this top part. This, we can bring it over. So let's do the focus check. The focus check is if I zoom into a spot and like focus on one area, does anything jump out that is not in that area? And I mean, our focal point, really, we got the hand with the hilt and stuff, and then we also got the face. Everything else is sort of secondary, even the sword. Yeah, so tongue of the belt is missing. But in order to know kind of where the tongue is, we need to also know where either the strap, the fastener, whether that's a buckle, whether that's a circle that you kind of double loop through. We kind of have to know that as well to give us the design on where the tongue, like how far does it extend? like what we could do real quick. Technically, I know we like the idea of this all being one piece, but really, this needs to be darker. So, cool. So we need to do the belt buckle. So we can okay. I can pull in a few Fs. Yeah, so it looks like if we're going for that more Norman kind of look, like 12th century, that sort of thing, better. Kind of the O or the D shape with the actual fastener down the middle. Then you have the studs going through it. If we want to do that real quick. Depends on like what the... I'm trying to remember how I put on a belt as a right-handed person. Like what way does the... Because I think for men and women, like the way the belts work might be different. Like they go different directions whenever you put them through the belt. One goes right, one goes left, maybe. I don't know if that's true. Just make that up. What we can do... Just do... Maybe... So it needs to be maybe this other way. It needs to be kind of like this, maybe. Then... Then if we come in with a little bit of the dark, hit there. Hell, it's funny. You don't even really even need the tongue of the belt if it's going across out the other way, right? Like it would be over here. I wonder, does it need to be a little heftier? Is our boys a little heftier? Maybe not. Let me... There we go. Maybe a little bit more like a crescent moon or something, you know? That. Sure. That's fine. And then we can come over here. The bottom lip with a highlight. There we go. See? There it is. Well, figured out. Oh, and hey, and this is cool, because then this is almost like a little bow and arrow pointing at the sword. You know? And yeah, overall, I think, I mean, we're almost to the point. I think we're almost done with this one, which is cool. Move this out. Yeah, he's just he is a strong man, which also he also does not care about like keeping a six-pack. He doesn't care about abs. He cares about strength. How well can I, you know, how well can I row this giant boat with my other soldiers on it? How well can I help lift the trees that we have to cut down? You know, that type of thing. Cool. Cool. Now, do I keep this part of the cape? What does that do for our profile? What does that do for... Actually, let's do this. Flip. Boom. Let's erase. So remember with Clip Studio, it's not using black and white. It's literally, for a mask, it's literally, you have a brush for what you want to show, and you erase what you don't want to show. Welcome back, Brent. Glad the old commute went well. I actually think it might be a sharper... I think it looks better without it. I think it looks better without that little piece right here. Because it's a little more stark, and I think the angle of the sword is more pronounced now. I think I'll have to kind of correct a little bit of the shield being circular is actually a nice way to break up the shape. Because here it almost got, that stuff got kind of lost in the sauce. But here, with the leg and the foot being kind of the end piece, it makes, no, I don't know, it makes the pose a little more dynamic, even without doing anything. So we'll keep that clip on there for it, because I kind of dig the way that looks. Now let me come in. A little darker. Give a little bit of personality on this part. You know, put a little stank on it, as it were. There you go. Now it all feels like the same piece of metal. Yeah, it just makes for a better... Like, he's more like, he feels more structured. You know? Yeah. My wife would pay me to keep my clothes on. What we really want to do now? We want to fix this. Get that darker dark. That's... So tomorrow for Friday Fun Day, we will be playing Helldivers 2 with buds from the server. Looking forward to that. I'm also, probably a little bit tonight and over the weekend and stuff like that, I'm going to finish up the main campaign of Monster Hunter Wilds. Because once you beat kind of the storyline, the story mode, the campaign, then it unlocks the actual game to where you can do whatever hunt you want, you get to level up, you get to do all that stuff. Right now, with Monster Hunter Wilds, it's a little structured, which is fine. The story's good, cool characters, you know how it is. But the real fun of a Monster Hunter game is the end game. It is where you just do the hunts, you collect the materials, you go and figure stuff out. And that's where I'm going to get to before we start playing it on stream. And I'm loving these brushes just because anything you just kind of clean up a little bit, it looks right. You know? But yeah, with Monster Hunter, super fun, super addictive, and some of the armor looks fantastic. Some of that armor design they got is like top-notch, next level, super imaginative. It ties in with the monster itself really well. Because that whole idea, that whole gameplay loop, is that you go and you kill these mini-bosses, you know? And then they drop materials, and then you craft better stuff using those materials. You can fight bigger and better bosses. You do it over and over and over again. Super fun. And yeah, those armor designs, they actually keep some of the design elements from the monster that you killed, you know? So it's super cool how they do some of that stuff. Like, I think that would be fun to do in this personal project. Have it to where there are, like, specific beasts around, and then you have, like, beast hunters that go, and, like, depending on which one they kill, they just wear the stuff, you know? I think that's a cool idea. And you get to really play around with, like, world building and all that, right? That up a little. We'll get rid of a lot of the main black lines. Rendering. And yeah, let's bring it way around. Fine. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that his leg kind of had a little more personality on it. We can even enhance some of those a little bit. Oh, those are all bangers. Fallout New Vegas is maybe the best Fallout game. And XCOM 2 is awesome. My only complaint is that I'm terrible at it. Statistics don't mean what you think they mean. If you have a 97% chance to success, you will lose every time. Like, it's just, it is how it is. Good old XCOM math. It's just kind of, oh, cool. This, that, this up, clean this. Yeah, there you go. And that way it also gives us a nice outline. The darker, better silhouette for back here too. Cool. That's why I love this brush so much. I can just kind of come in and slowly melt away some values. And sketch a little bit if I need to, but it's not overly sharp. You know? A little bit of that render right there. And slowly bring that up. There it is. Go. That little fold, so it doesn't fight with, it doesn't start making a tangent where these meet. Yeah, just kind of cleaning up everything, you know? Make it a little easier to parse for the eyeball. Too bad. Those match, so what I need to do now I can grab that darker. We're just winging it. We're not looking at reference on this. We just kind of what looks right as far as if the folds make sense, if up a little bit. Yeah. It's starting to look like a thing. Would you believe it? Yes, so this is from that Ray Frendon set. This whole category, let me save. So the whole category is called Photoshop, like fake, F-A-U-X. He basically brought in the hard round brush of Photoshop, but applied the wet brush engine to it. But all of the brushes in that Ray Frendon brush pack come in a group like this. So like I also like, there's one called Howley, which is based on a older comic book artist. Can't remember his first name. But like it's almost like a dry, gritty ink pen brush that I love. I love. Like if I were to grab it, let me grab the dry. It won't fit here because of the way we're rendering, but I'm gonna go ahead, let me do a new layer and grab this. If I grab that, it's like that type of look. But each brush category has different versions of the brush. So this is the dry brush. He has a rake brush of the same thing, a mixer brush of the same thing, just a generic flow brush, a mixer but a dry version of the mixer brush, a blender, which doesn't, it does do a little bit of opacity stuff, but you can see it's really the nice smudger to smudge edges. A simple, which there's no fancy stuff. It's just simple wet brush. Opacity, based on how hard you push there. But the dry brush, all of my favorite stuff is going to be either the blender brush There's a wet brush. Howley I don't think has one, but it has the mixer, which is pretty close. But then all of his Photoshop ones are the same way. He has the generic Photoshop, which is the sharp one that we use. But then like there's one that's less opaque. The blender brush, we just had that. Makes it more like an airbrush. Opacity only wet, which is my favorite. The Photoshop wet brush is my favorite brush in Clip Studio Paint. Mixing less opacity, mixing flat, mixing more opacity. Each one of these has dozens of different variants, you know, and I think it looks incredible. But yeah, the Photoshop, I have the Howley. There's a few other ones, Oily-ish he made, which are really, really good. So it's like this kind of ink pen style stuff. And look at that. It's a sketch brush with a wet tail for an ink pen. That, man. Knife. Palette knife. Super nice. Kind of the mix right there. Sun brush. Mercury. Yeah, I remember liking Mercury. This reminds me of the Nico roller in Procreate. Abstract texture. Has crazy colors and stuff too. Waterhouse brush right here. Like a quartz brush. It's really cool. But yeah, love the Ray Frendon brush pack is a must-have. You know. Brush tips for the files not in the credit. Yes, so I plan to next year. I will do, because they will have more. I think they're going to do a refinement of the RGBA brush engine. I think they're cleaning that up a little bit. So once that comes out, and who knows when or if, everything's always kind of in development at Krita, and it's a small team. So they don't have tons and tons of money and time and all that stuff. But if they come out with that refinement, I want to see how they work. And then I will probably put out a Krita brush pack that has like 20, 25 brushes in it. A lot of like heavier painting stuff on that one. But then you'll get the nice kind of wet blend and all that in Krita, because that exists really well in Krita. So yeah, that's a great way to do it. So I will say the best way, Brent, if you want to install brushes, like if you want to install brushes, a very easy way to do it, just open Clip Studio and have it on the tool that you like. So if you want a brush, have the brush one open. If you have pencil, have the pencil one open. There's a pen, like ink pens and stuff. What you can do is, once you get like an ABR file, which I think is what all the Ray Frendon ones are in, or those might be in a native. Anyway, they're going to be in a native file that Clip Studio can see. What you can do is just, if you open up the folder and just drag the brush file onto the subtool menu of whatever subtool you have, whether it's brush or pencil or pen, it just installs it. It installs all the brushes right there, you know. Yeah, I need to dig in to the new Procreate, because apparently Kyle Webster works for them now. He left Adobe. He was like, deuces, y'all. And then but apparently he made a whole new brush pack for Procreate. That's exciting, because he makes really good brushes. Really, every main Photoshop brush is some sort of riff of his brush. Like, either people use his brush as like the starting point and they edit it, or because, I mean, he has made thousands beyond thousands of brushes. He's like the OG as far as Photoshop brushes. Yeah, Clip Studio is great because you can tell the more you start using Clip Studio, you're going to realize that it's specifically made for digital illustrators and painters and like manga artists. And that's the only people it caters to. It does animation, but I don't do animation, so I can't like talk about the quality of those tools. But like the paint engine, the way layers work, the blending modes, all of that is like top notch, you know. Up, just base there. And it blends in almost like a gradient. There we go. Yeah, something nice. Cool. Very cool. Funny, the same way I rendered kind of the leg muscles and stuff is the same way I'm rendering this wood. You just come and you stuff, and then you come back in and re-render and clean up those edges. Refine this a little bit. Oh. Even blend this stuff out. Okay. Since it's not the focus, we can get away with that. See, and it's cool because blending out stuff like this, or like softening it and stuff, actually does make you draw less attention to it. Even though we have this really sharp kind of white coming down from the sword, it's not, you know what I mean? It gets to sing on its own. It's not fighting with the leg shape or even kind of the cuff where the cuff meets the leg for attention. It's just out of focus. You know, easy way to do that. So another cool thing, now if we come over here, we go to layer, new correction layer, gradient map. We can pick something cool. And we can here is merge from layer below, layer settings, clip to layer below. There it is. There we go. Then we can change this to color. Boom. So we still have our value range right there, right on the money. Then we can play around with this. Nice softer deals. You can do some stark, you know, like nice soft right there, and then a little bit of blues in some of the midtones. can also do some of these. Nice blue. See, I like how some of those blues come in, mixed with the browns and the whites. Greens. What's cool is like we can have all this. Let's say we like this one. You know, nice smooth transitions. Let's change this instead of color. Let's change it to overlay. And then bring the opacity down. Here, same thing. All these. Makes it a little bit darker, a little bit more integrated into the pixels, as it were. And if you do like the calm gradation maps, do that up. You can just play around. Soft light looks good. Hard light's a little harsher, but good too. Then back over to Camera Obscura. Kind of blows out the highlights a little bit, but that might be the look that you want, you know. That works really well on like a super sharp like design thing. You can just kind of see it. It's almost like actually pure black and white. That little hit of color, but anyway, some of that right there. If we go back to color here. And if we make another color layer, and then we can just introduce another color. Introduce into this off blue. I'll show you guys another little trick. We have color layer on the gradient map that kind of filled us in pretty legit, pretty easy. We have this blue. Right over here. Color. You're probably worried that we're losing all those nice subtle gradations within the shadows. Like midtones and forms turning and stuff. I will show you what we're going to do. Come in and block in where you want that color. Basically just color it right in. Let's say we have, it's right here. Let's do a bit of off green just to see how we're looking. Okay. Get maybe the brown color here. For our bag. Basically, I'm just treating these like color flats because they are going to end up integrating pretty well with what we have. And just for fun, we can make some red. Little RGB soldier right here, you know. This is just going to show that colors don't matter too much. You can just be a little silly. You'll still make something that looks pretty good because you're going to kind of melt all these colors into each other using the gradient map we made before. And we got that. Over to the blue. Gray that out a little bit. And make our dude a little gold. Give him a gold ring, because that's cool. Gold right here. Gold right here. Here. What's up, Rival? So Clip Studio Paint on iPad is actually pretty good. However, it is subscription only. I don't use it. Clean this up a little bit. A little bit of gold right there. Round this up a little bit. This integrates pretty well right there. We can even warm it. That, what color do we want? Do something like this. That brown beard, sure. Okay, so once again, these are the flats. These are my color flats. Something you can very easily do. So here it is on normal mode. This is basically just how that's colored, right? this color mode, you lock back into the values you already established. Come over to overlay. See how it mingles differently? Because overlay on top of a gradient map, on top of values, the math is different, right? So we're going to stick with color, but I'm going to lower the opacity down to about 50%. And now you can see how the whole thing, it still very much has just the pure gradient map on it, you know? But like, this is a way you can introduce colors without overpowering the mood of the piece. Because we can keep these colors locked in now if we like them, but still change our gradient map. And the math is going to figure itself out. This is still going to look red. This is still going to look red. You know, these will still look slightly bluer than the browns, right? No matter what we have. Once again, this is very yellow now, but this is slightly bluer. This is slightly more red. This is slightly more red. So we're integrating what we see as far as our flats, but they're like harmonizing, they're singing with the gradient map. And you can do it the other way around too. If you put all your flats in, then you bring a gradient map on top of it and then lower the gradient map, it's going to do the same thing. This math works a little bit different because the gradient map is more powerful, because that's what we're using as our key light, our key color code. All of our key colors have to do with a gradient map. And then we introduce shades or hue switches subtly, you know. But this way, like, let's say, yeah, sure, this one, he's on the side of a cliff looking out and it's sunrise. And this is what the colors are doing to his outfit. You know what I mean? But if it's like dark, if it's nighttime, you know, the moonlight is lighting him, but you still have those relationships. You still have that. This is red. This is red. This is more red. These are more warm. The yellows kind of get lost, but because it's so highlight heavy. But then, oh, now we need it to be like super harsh orange blistering sunlight. You get something like that, but the relationships still stay the same. So it's real fun to kind of come in and play, you know, just kind of with whatever you want, whatever you have. If you want it warmer, if you want it cooler, you can kind of do that, right? Good one. That's a really cool one. Looks very rustic. It has some nice subtle greens in there as well. But then, yeah, at any point, just come over here. You can just hide those colors that we added in. But because our values work, everything works. You know? Yeah, this works out okay. It's funny, in the book, I bet I'm gonna just keep one of these gradient maps locked in. Like maybe this one. I really like those kind of rich tan colors. And I think it's funny that the skin is not that tan color, but yet that blue color. But the shadows can be, you know. Do that. No. Those. Then you can mix your curve rates and stuff right here, but I usually just do standard mixing mode, and then I control how it all integrates in. right over here. Yeah, and you see these nice little hits of blue right here. Or like the more gray around all of this other warm stuff. Looks really nice. Like, I like those interplays between the warm and the cools. Yeah, and this is very light. And really, because how we talked earlier, a lot of this is because of how light the whole piece is. This is very much the light key. So if we went in here, if I did this, we do this right here. Here's another cool life hack right here. Did it fill? Multiply. This a little bit. We bring these down here. Gradient map. Let's see, we got this over here. Oh, I see. This is going to be darker. So it's all going to stay within kind of the one value. But there's one that's actually going to make it. Is it color burn, maybe? I'm going to make some of these like really pop. It might also be because this is a multiply mode instead of like a... So the mask should work a little bit. It makes it a little more vibrant. But also all of these are very kind of subtle gradients. But I was going to show you guys something kind of cool. Come over here. This is here. Let's say we want to do... Kigurumi, hello! Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Let's go ahead. Let's do a dramatic, very dramatic slice of light. Where should we do it? Where should we do it? Should we do it? Oh. Let's be color burn. I want this to be... Okay, why won't it, Oh, because that's the gradient map. I don't need no gradient map right there. This is what I wanted. Boom. So funny. That might have been what I was running into. Okay. This is why I don't work with a lot of layers. It gets messy real quick. So this was... Let me hide that. This one. This one. Okay. That's correct. That. There's that. There's the subtle colors. Okay, cool. Now I know where I am. That. Oh, it brought in the shadow of... Okay. That's fine. Erase that real quick before we do this little magic trick. I'm going to do the nice slice of light for you guys. Because we can do the slice of light around his armor. We can do on his face. Wherever you think it would look good. Since this is here, we can go boom. Then you follow that form. A really easy way to light stuff. Very easy, very fun. Do your lighting like that. So once again, kind of how we did the local colors, you can do local lighting. Go. Then, even because you have the multiply layer set above this, it's also going to play nice with your shadows. So it's going to saturate stuff, it's going to desaturate stuff accordingly. That's a cool way to add a little bit of drama, a little bit of flair, without really doing anything. Especially working on a, basically the soldier's on his own layer. Like, since he's transparent, everything around him is, transparent. You can just select a layer of the contents of the layer. Holding down the control button, you just click the layer, selects everything on that layer, and then you just make a new layer, multiply a dark color. So we could even so this right here, if we're gonna, let's lock transparency. Where's lock transparency? There it is. Okay. If I wanted to get blue light, we could do blue. We could do edit fill. You know what I mean? Like, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. If we wanted the dark blue, we can go edit fill. We wanted it to be like the harsher, like sunrise type stuff. Edit fill. You can do a whole bunch doing this. Fill. See, a little more subtle. But for a spot illustration, that's not bad. That one's not bad. Like I said, I still have to design the like the crest and like what that design language is going to be on the crest and the different logos. We haven't gotten that far on like what is this knight? What is he an infantryman of? What clan does he belong to? All that stuff. But you just save yourself some of those little accoutrements, like right here, maybe a little dial right there, maybe a little right there. You just give yourself a little wiggle room. That way you can come back later once that stuff is established and like seal it in there. Yeah, I hope you guys had fun on that one. Yeah, and welcome to all the TikTok people watching. Hello. Hope you're doing well. I'm sorry I cannot see TikTok chat. I promise I'm not ignoring you maliciously, but I need to figure out how to get all the live stream stuff to show up correctly as far as all the different chats and everything, because every website goes live a different way. Let me kick back over here. There it is. All right. So yes, welcome. Welcome everybody. Hope you guys had fun. Hey yo. Yeah. It's chat right there. Discord email. Wife's still doing good at work. Cool. So yeah, fun stuff. We kind of finished the night until we do other design stuff on the book and try to figure out the clans and the symbols and the iconography and all that. Yeah. Just kind of, rendered out today. Did a nice little 3-hour session of rendering. Hope you had fun hanging. I'm gonna try. I need to talk with one of the clients that I'm working with right now, because I would love to work on their stuff on stream. I think it would be a lot of fun. It's a new type of thing that I haven't really done before as far as like the type of art I am making them. I need to email and see. They might be cool with it, but also, intellectual property is a thing, and I completely understand, because I don't think they have announced anything about this project at all. So, I mean, I'm 95% sure they're going to say no, but it's worth a shot, because I think, hey, if I can meet my deadline faster and answer questions, and you see how I'm actually working on like paid client work, that would be a lot of fun, But if that doesn't happen, if that's a big no-no, that's a slap on the wrist, no, we will start work on our Orktober piece. I am excited about Orktober. It's one of those, how there was like Inktober? I'm not a big fan of like, do a piece of art every single day for a month. I think that is a recipe for burnout. Now, that being said, I have done that. I did that the first 2 years I really started hitting social media and trying art and stuff back in 2019 and 2020. I did that stuff. I was like, I'm going to do a piece every single day. In fact, my first year from 2019 to 2020, I did a painting a day. Painting a day. Whether it was traditional or digital or whatever, I did a painting a day. None of them were any good, but I did it, right? I know I saved some of them on like my ArtStation. None of it's on my portfolio because it's all kind of bad. But you just get time under the gun. You know what I mean? Like time in the range. Yeah, it helped. It helped kind of get cobwebs out and learn techniques and stuff like that. And whenever it's kind of nice, if you're doing that much work, you realize that, oh, this one can suck because the one tomorrow I'm going to do tomorrow and it might be better. And then if that one's good, you're like, oh, this is good. Maybe I can keep this momentum tomorrow whenever I do the next one. So you're able to, if it's good, cool. If it's bad, cool, because you're doing another one tomorrow. But I do think it's a great way to burn out. I think it's a great way to take the joy out of the thing. So with that being said, on the Discord, I'm doing Orktober, which is a thing that I did not create. That is created by somebody else. I don't know who gets the credit for that, but they should get the credit because it's cool. But the goal is make anything orc related throughout sometime this month. It's very low stakes. Very, just think of something like look at some reference, do a master study if you want. Make up your own orc, start designing stuff, just try things, just try new things. My thing that I want to try is doing a kind of a square spot illustration, but I would love to do a dynamic angle of an orc. Like I'm picturing he's holding his axe. He's like walking upstairs and he's like looking kind of down like his shoulder type thing. Maybe an axe in one hand, maybe a severed head in the other. But like you can see the steps that he's on. It's like old ruins. And basically the camera, like I if I'm directing it, the camera's up over, like looking. So you can see him and he's taking up the frame and everything. But like you can literally see his feet come up. You can see all that because we're looking, if he's here, it'll be like this type of shot. To where like he's maybe looking to the side, but because of how the camera angle is, it looks like he's looking down. You can see the top of his head. I think that would be an interesting challenge because that's a very hard angle to do. That's a very hard angle to make and make it look cool and good. But also you can use the steps that he would be stepping on as a contour line for that perspective. So I'm interested in that idea because it's like, oh, now the composition of the area he's at is telling the viewer what the perspective is. Like it's aiding in our main subject. And while everyone can look at the main subject, having those steps like receding down, kind of spirally down might help. It might bring more dynamics. It might allow us to do some more fun stuff. I don't think it's going to be as rendered as like our knight here, but it might be. Parts of it might be. So yeah, please show your research, show your sketches, any of the work in progress stuff. You can show it on the Discord, all of it during the making of. Hell, I'll be live streaming my making of. So you'll be able to see that process from kind of a beginning to end. I might, basically, if I get Daz or Poser or even Clip Studio, or we got the Handy Ref thing now, that program, make a 3D model, try to lock down the pose to see if it's any good, and then start drawing on top of it. I think that's what we're going to do. It's just going to speed up the process and let us get to the more fun stuff faster. So the tattoos, it's funny. The tattoos, I did get two. I got the Zerg symbol right here for StarCraft and then the Protoss symbol. The goal was we were going to be designing a thing to come up the whole sleeve. Me and my artist Dallas worked for 5.5 hours and couldn't figure it out. Because what we ran into, and this is a design language thing, you know, tattoo artists are painters too, they are artists. What we were running into is I have a lot of geometric shapes. I have a lot of sharps, I have a lot of edges, a lot of iconography, a lot of, you know, the Final Fantasy VII deal, and, you know, Star Wars right here, and Blade Runner, and then we have a Raven, and, you know, Assassin's Creed. Very stark, heavy, kind of symmetrical. Whenever we were designing stuff to come up and through and everything, we would essentially have to delete so much of it. We would have to erase so much of whatever the design was that you couldn't tell what it was because we had so many sporadic breaks. So what we decided is I'm going to go whole hog on the iconography stuff. I'm going to make some more. I think I'm going to get the word like right here. I'm going to fill in some words, maybe right here. We're going to do some filler spot. I know I'm going to get an icon right here, going to get an icon right here on the back of the arm coming down. We're going to fill this thing to the brim. Then after that, we're going to go in and in the negative space, we're going to add color. We're going to add bright blues and purples and greens, very cool colors, kind of almost watercolor splashes behind everything to tie it all together. Because this arm is going to be it's going to be one piece. We kind of learned our lesson this way. Doing the makeshift stuff is cool. We can fit a whole lot on here and they're little. But with the look that I want, we're going to design a whole sleeve, one piece of art from the get-go, and then do that and fill this in with warm colors. So I have a cool arm, which is funny. It's ironic because all of this stuff I think is cool, like StarCraft and Star Wars and Final Fantasy and Assassin's Creed and Deus Ex, is my cool colors. And then the warm color, this is going to be like a koi fish thing, 2 koi fish coming upstream, 3 goldfish. So me and my wife and the kids. Then we're going to do, I don't know if we're going to do the Sakura flower or if we're going to do maple. Because the thing with Japanese, like Irizumi tattoos, It's all very symbolic. Everything actually means something. So it depends on, okay, what kind of koi fish is it? Because what season is it? Because what leaves is it? Because of, and that all, excuse me, that all has a different meaning. So we're going to iron that out. It's going to come all the way up the arm. And then, because I have a little piece of katakana from way back, like 20 years ago, that I got this. That was my first tattoo. We're going to fill this in to like dragon-esque stuff. Because that's the whole idea. If a koi makes that journey, you make the journey up, you go through the trials and tribulations, and you get rewarded at the end. A Frazetta sleeve would be sick. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do with the watercolor stuff. It's gonna be done in such a way to where it actually allows the black to pop more. Because the thing is, I'm so pale, the colors are gonna like sing. And then what that's gonna do is that's literally gonna draw the black up more. It's gonna, since it is darker, I mean, we learned that, in painting. If something's darker and sharper, it will be in focus. Period. It's going to get the attention. So if we have the green and the purple and stuff, that draws the eye in, and then it locks in on the icons. So we're going to literally, I have like a sword planned here. I have maybe words or something planned here. Icon right here. We're going to fill it. Totally going to fill it, So it's going to be legit. Yeah, so like, it's cool. CM Punk has this stuff. Orton actually did some makeshift tattoos and then kind of filled it in together. But yeah, it's going to be super colorful. We're going to kind of look at it to make sure that it works well, but it's going to be all the purples, green, cyan. Cyan's probably my favorite color on the planet. So I would love to have cyan like really make this stuff pop. I think that looks super cool. But I think the next tattoo I'm actually going to get, it's kind of hard to see the little gap, but I'm gonna get it through this gap right here. Yeah, kind of right here. I have an idea that I think is gonna be pretty rad if we can pull it off. So yeah, it's just, a lot of time in the chair, which is cool. I like it. So, and then yeah, I'm gonna do the cutoff right here and come up, but later on down the line, if we get crazy, we fill up both arms. I might extend it and do the hand. I don't know. Colored inks and tattoos. Really? Is it for like allergy stuff? That's super interesting. I wonder why it's illegal. Thank you for the follow, my friend. Kig Bob on TikTok. So yeah, it's weird. I get some notifications for the TikTok, not all of them, but I appreciate you very much. Yeah, getting the tattoo. It's funny. I never think it's painful. I will say once we started getting up near this wrist area, those got a little spicy. And I need to go back and actually get this filled in a little more because this was bleeding quite a bit. Sorry for the TMI, but this one, the Zerg one's great. This one is a little faded, but we need to go back. I had a callus from my watch. So, because I wear like a smartwatch and like this is exactly where it was. So I guess my wrist right here was calloused, so it didn't pierce all the way through. So I'm going to go and get that kind of shapened up and stuff like that. And my guy's awesome. He does it for free. He's like, I tattooed you, so I'll just tattoo you again in the same spot. It's fine. So we'll sharpen that up. But yeah, once it got near kind of the sensitive, lack of muscle type stuff around the wrist where the joint is, got a little hairy. But I wouldn't say tattoos hurt. They're annoying. It's almost like if you had a little bug or like a little bee, and it was just stinging you. It was just going like, tick, 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 tick. Just doing that for 2.5 hours. So it doesn't hurt. It's just it's a necessary evil. They say beauty is pain, right? So We'll knock it out. I'm hoping to get this whole sleeve done by about this time next year. I know it seems like a long way off, but I'm still going to do the makeshift stuff. We're going to fill in the stuff, make sure the balance is right, make sure all that. So, because I'll have it for the rest of my life. So don't want to really rush through it. Even though I had the idea to rush through it. I want this sleeve to be done. I want this part to be... But then we come to find out, hey, it'll look better and be better if we just a la carte it. Do the cookie cutters, the stickers, as it were. But that is my time for today. I'm excited about tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be Friday Fun Day. We're going to be live on Twitch, on YouTube, and on TikTok. We're going to be live. Finally got the whole TikTok thing figured out. Not only figured out how to do the vertical stream, but also they let me do it. For the first while, they denied my application over and over. I applied like 7 times and they said no every time. And then I guess I was annoying enough that they were like, sure, whatever. So now the TikTok's going to get used, We're going to be live. But tomorrow, Friday Fun Day, going to be playing Helldivers 2 for a little bit. With some people on the Discord channel. Rick has been linking the Discord. He's going to be one of the poor souls teaming up with me tomorrow. We're going to bring some democracy to the bugs, to the aliens. I'm excited because it's very like Starship Troopers, that like the irony sort of democracy, which is pretty fitting nowadays. I'm in chronic pain. I'm so... There has to be a story like that, right? It's like Portrait of Dorian Gray about that. That's more the one... Which is the one... Isn't there an Edgar Allan Poe about the painting? Where you're painting the person and then their spirit's now in the picture instead of in the body? Yeah. Yeah, Mert, you're more than welcome, my friend. We're going to be in voice chat. I still don't know how that's really going to work, because I will be, of course, talking to the stream, but also talking to whoever's in voice chat. So I don't know if for the voice chat I should do push to talk, but I'm going to forget to push the button. I'm going to be pushing other buttons. So it might be a weird thing if you're in open voice chat with me, because I will also be using that same microphone to be chatting at, the stream for the archives and for the live viewers and everything. So yeah, it's going to be fun. And then next week should be back, knock on wood, right? Famous last words. Should be back to a pretty regular schedule. I will be knocking out more of the NDA stuff, doing that. So, we're looking at probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe. Or maybe like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday look for the stream. So, just depends. How often you guys want me live, I'll be live. I will have to do some work off stream for sure, especially come November. I'll be working on my next set for Magic the Gathering. Can't really show any of that stuff. We'll still do live streams every week, but I will be doing a lot of focus, kind of buckling in, getting in that zone, getting those knocked out. Help read chat. Oh, that'd be good. Oh, it's Dorian Gray. Okay, I thought it was. I was like, wait, am I misremembering my Oscar Wilde? But yeah, that's my time today. That's my stream for today. I hope you found some of this stuff helpful. Hopefully the portfolio advice was good. It was great to see Cody. It's great to see all of you. New followers on TikTok, welcome. Sorry the chat stuff isn't popping up. I don't know how to really fix that. I'll try to learn. But the thing is, you can't test it without being live. Like with Twitch, you can test all kinds of stuff without being live because chat still works. You can test stuff and format it and all that. But with YouTube and with TikTok specifically, you can't connect to anything until you're live, so the programs can connect to do the testing, if that makes sense. But yeah, Twitch is kind of always there in the background. They're always watching. So it makes it way easier to test. So I can kind of just test on Twitch and then hope for the best on the other stuff. But yeah, we got our chat set up. We got all that. And yeah, it did show me, it was nice. It did show me a few TikTok things on here too. So I think we're good. I think we're good on that. But that is my time for today. I will catch you guys tomorrow Yeah, probably around 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time here in the good old US of A. And we'll play for quite a few hours. You know, I'll be able to play probably 3 hours. Sounds about right. Because, yeah, today's stream's 3 hours, 30 minutes. So, yeah, right on the button. But I'm excited for it. Get amped for Friday Fun Day. Go get you some snacks, get some good drinks. We're going to be having a blast. Bringing democracy to those damn bugs. Killing them aliens. You know how it is. But that's it for me. You guys are fantastic. Oh, I got a new YouTube video out, by the way, about the Rebel brush. How to swap stuff in Rebel. How to take your favorite brush from one category, maybe make it into another category. How to keep all that stuff in track. What the differences are between those brush categories. And the cool thing is my favorite brush in Rebel now is a free brush that you get with the program. Not only that, it came with the program like 5 years ago, and it's always been there. It's been in the weeds, just hiding. But yeah, go check out that video if you have not already. Leave a comment. Let me know you watched it. Because yeah, it's funny. These live streams actually do better video on demand numbers than the YouTube videos do. And I did some new formatting stuff in that new video. That you know, you old school cats that have been around for a while, you're gonna notice the slight differences, the slight transitions, there's little bits. Things are moving and shaking. So we're figuring it out. That's it for me. I will see you all tomorrow for Friday Fun Day. Take care. Go out there, make cool art, and we'll see you tomorrow.